I always believed my father was a hero, until I found a box in the attic that changed everything. The photos, the letters, the legal documents. They told a story of betrayal, hidden siblings, and a double life that spanned over 30 years. Now I'm left questioning everything I knew about my family, and whether I should reveal the truth to my mother or bury it forever. The attic was a time capsule, a place where the past clung to every surface like dust. I hadn't planned to venture up there that gray Saturday afternoon in Concord, Massachusetts. I was 32, temporarily back in my childhood home after a breakup that left me untethered. My mother, Ellen, was downstairs, lost in her soap operas, her laughter mingling with the TV's melodramatic score. I climbed the creaky ladder to escape the noise, the monotony, the ache of my own failures. I wasn't looking for answers, just something to do. But in a forgotten corner behind a tower of Christmas decorations, I found a box that changed everything. It was a plain cardboard box, labeled Dad's Stuff in my father's meticulous handwriting. Henry Whittaker had been gone 3 years, felled by a heart attack at 65. To me, he was a hero. The high school history teacher who coached my little league games, who taught me to ride a bike and always had a terrible pun ready. My mother still kept his favorite sweater, a faded green cardigan draped over his armchair as if he might walk through the door and slip it on. I thought I knew him completely. The box proved me wrong. I pried it open, expecting old yearbooks or baseball stats. Instead, I found a photograph, edges worn soft. It showed Dad, maybe in his 30s, standing with a woman I didn't know. She had dark, wavy hair and a bold smile, her arm looped through his as they stood in front of a Ferris wheel, its lights smudged against a twilight sky. On the back, in unfamiliar cursive, Henry and Leela, Coney Island, 1987. My parents married in 1985. My heart stuttered. Beneath the photo was a bundle of letters tied with a frayed red ribbon. The envelopes were addressed to Henry Whittaker at a P.O. box in Boston, not our Concord address. The return address was a street in Providence, Rhode Island. The letters were from Leela, pages of intimate, flowing script. I miss you when you're gone, Henry. The kids ask when you'll be back. Kids, my breath caught. Ellie's drawing you pictures and Tommy's reading your old comic books. They're growing so fast. Ellie and Tommy. Names that meant nothing to me, yet they were tied to my father. I dug deeper, my hands trembling. There were birth certificates. Eleanor Marie Whittaker, born 1989, and Thomas James Whittaker, born 1991. Father, Henry Whittaker. Mother, Leela Marie Dubois. My father had other children. I was an only child, or so I'd believed my whole life. Then a property deed from 1995 for a house in Providence, co-signed by Dad and Leela. A second home, a second family. For 30 years, he'd lived a double life, and I'd never suspected. I sat on the attic floor, surrounded by cobwebs and betrayal, the box's contents spread like a crime scene. The letters painted a vivid picture. Leela was a painter, passionate and impulsive, the opposite of Mom's reserved pragmatism. They'd met at a teaching conference in 1986, a year after my parents' wedding. What started as an affair became a parallel life. Dad's business trips to Boston, his late nights grading papers, all lies. He'd been splitting his time between us and them, a high-wire act of deception. How had he kept it up? How had he looked Mom in the eye, kissed my forehead, and gone off to another family? The worst part was imagining Mom's reaction. Ellen Whittaker, 62, still wore her grief like a second skin. She'd loved Dad fiercely, and his death had left her fragile, clinging to his memory like a lifeline. If I told her, it would destroy her. But keeping it secret felt like betraying her too. And what about these siblings, Ellie and Tommy? Did they know about me? Did they deserve to know their father was a liar? I couldn't leave the box in the house. It felt like a bomb waiting to detonate. I smuggled it to my apartment in Boston, where it sat in my closet, a silent accusation. For days, I pored over the letters, piecing together Dad's other life. Leela's words were a mix of love and frustration. Early letters were tender. You make me feel alive, Henry. I don't care about the complications. Later ones were sharper. You can't keep doing this, living in two worlds. Choose. He never did. The last letter, dated 2019, was curt. Tommy's graduating college. You missed it. Don't bother coming this month. Dad had died a year later. Did Leela know? I searched online for Leela Dubois. She was still in Providence, running an art gallery called Blue Horizon. Her website showed a woman in her 60s, silver streaking her dark hair, but the same sharp smile from the Coney Island photo. I found Ellie and Tommy too. Eleanor Whittaker, 36, a graphic designer with a sleek portfolio. Thomas Whittaker, 34, a high school English teacher like Dad. Their social media showed glimpses of their lives. Ellie at art openings, Tommy with his students. They had Dad's hazel eyes, his crooked smile. My siblings. The word felt like a foreign language. I wanted to hate them, but I couldn't. They were as much victims of Dad's lies as I was. Their birth certificates listed his occupation, but no hint of another family. Maybe they thought he was theirs alone. The thought made me ache, for them, for me, for Mom. I drove to Providence on impulse, the box in my trunk like a passenger I couldn't ignore. Blue Horizon was in a trendy neighborhood, all exposed brick and soft jazz. Through the window, I saw Leela arranging paintings, her laugh carrying to the street. I stood there, clutching a cold coffee, my courage failing. What would I say? "Hi, I'm your lover's other daughter." I drove back to Boston, the box heavier than ever. The next month was a fog of indecision. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. The secret gnawed at me. Mom noticed my distraction, asking, "Kate, are you okay? You seem off." I mumbled excuses, terrified she'd sense the truth. I confided in my best friend, Sarah, over wine at my apartment. I spilled everything, the box, the letters, the siblings. Her eyes widened. "Jesus, Kate, this is a lot. You can't carry this alone, but telling your mom, that might break her. And you, what can you live with?" I considered confronting Leela, demanding answers, or reaching out to Ellie and Tommy, testing if they knew. Every option felt like a minefield. What if they hated me for appending their lives? What if Mom blamed me for ruining her memories? I imagined her face crumpling, her belief in Dad's love shattered. But silence felt like complicity in his lies. I started having nightmares, Dad at that Ferris wheel, laughing with Leela, while Mom and I faded into shadows. I'd wake up gasping, the box looming in my mind. I needed to do something, anything, to stop the spiral. I decided to reach out to Ellie and Tommy first. Telling Mom felt too final, too destructive. Maybe meeting my siblings would give me clarity. I wrote a letter, careful and neutral. "Dear Alina and Thomas, my name is Kate Whittaker. I recently found documents suggesting we share the same father, Henry Whittaker. I don't know the full story, and I'm not sure what this means for us. I'd like to meet if you're open to it. Here's my number." Sincerely, Kate. I mailed it to Leela's address, hoping it would reach them. For 2 weeks, I checked my phone obsessively, half expecting silence. Then one evening it rang. "Kate, this is Ellie Whittaker." Her voice was cautious but warm. "I got your letter. I didn't know about you. Can we talk?" We met at a cafe in Worcester, halfway between Concord and Providence. Tommy came too. Seeing them was like looking at a distorted mirror, Dad's features in strangers' faces. Ellie had his sharp cheekbones. Tommy his lanky frame. We ordered coffee, the air thick with awkwardness. "So," Ellie said, stirring her latte, "you're our sister?" I nodded, my throat tight. "I found a box in my mom's attic. Letters, photos, birth certificates. I didn't know about you either." Tommy leaned forward, his eyes searching mine. "What did the letters say?" I told them everything, the affair, the house in Providence, Dad's double life. They listened, stunned. "He told us he was a traveling salesman," Ellie said. "Always gone for work. Mom, Leela, never said anything about another family." Tommy added, "He was around enough to feel like a dad, but distant. I thought it was just his job." They didn't know about Mom or me. Leela had kept Dad's secret too. "Did you tell your mom?" Ellie asked. I shook my head. "I don't know if I can. She thinks he was perfect." We talked for hours, the awkwardness fading. Ellie was funny with a dry wit. Tommy was quieter, thoughtful. They showed me photos of their childhood, Dad teaching them to swim, reading bedtime stories. It was surreal seeing him in their memories, a different version of the man I knew. We didn't talk about telling our mothers yet. That was too raw. But we exchanged numbers, promising to stay in touch. Back home, the box still haunted me. I kept it in my closet, its contents memorized but no less heavy. I started seeing a therapist, Dr. Lynn, to untangle my feelings. "You're carrying a legacy of deception," she said. "But you get to choose what to do with it. What does your heart say?" My heart was a mess. I wanted to protect Mom, but I also wanted her to know the truth. I wanted to know Ellie and Tommy, but I feared their mother's reaction. I imagined scenarios, confronting Leela, sitting Mom down, burning the box and pretending I'd never found it. None felt right. One night I called Ellie. "Have you told your mom?" I asked. "Not yet," she said. "I'm scared she'll shut down. She loved him, you know, even when he was gone all the time." "Same with my mom," I said. "I don't know what's worse, telling her or not." Tommy joined the call, his voice steady. "Maybe we start with us, get to know each other. Figure out the rest later." We met again, then again. We shared stories, compared memories of Dad. Ellie showed me a painting Leela made of him, young and carefree. Tommy gave me one of Dad's old comic books, a battered Superman issue. He'd want you to have it, he said. I cried in my car afterward, clutching it. 6 months later, I made a decision about Mom. I couldn't tell her, not yet. Her health had been shaky, her grief still raw. Destroying her image of Dad felt like cruelty. But I couldn't bury the truth forever either. I started dropping hints, testing her. Did Dad ever talk about his trips to Boston? I'd ask. She'd smile, vague. Oh, you know, your father always working. I kept in touch with Ellie and Tommy. We became not quite siblings, but something close. We met for dinners, texted about our lives. They hadn't told Leela yet either. One day, Ellie said, but not now. The box is still in my closet, a reminder of the truth I carry. I don't know if I'll ever tell Mom. Some days I think she deserves to know, others I think she deserves peace. Ellie and Tommy have given me a strange kind of hope, a new family born from betrayal. Dad's lies broke us, but they also tied us together. Maybe in time we'll figure out what to do with the pieces. So that is for today's story. If you like the story, share it with others, and follow for more real-life stories and heartfelt experiences. Your support means everything, and it helps us share more stories like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.